Our top focus remains Poland, where its NATO allies are now on high alert after a wave of drones breached Polish airspace overnight. Multiple Russian drones violated Polish airspace in what authorities are calling the most serious incursion since the start of the Ukraine war. Poland's Interior Ministry has confirmed that 7 drones and debris from an unknown projectile were found, damaging a house and a car. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Donald Tusk has called it an act of aggression and warned of growing threats at the border. There are reactions from local residents coming in. Listen in.
Nie czułem się do końca bezpiecznie, jakby będąc tutaj i mając tą świadomość, że Rosja jakby troszeczkę infiltruje nasz kraj. Tutaj nie wiadomo, dlaczego te drony się pojawiły, ofiar, ale w przyszłości może się to powtórzyć i faktycznie może coś złego się wydarzyć. Trzeba to zbadać.
It's kind of worrying because, in Ukraine the situation started also kind of not the same, but like it was the same pattern with some learning sessions in the Belarus and Russia. As a person from Belarus, I really worry that my country can be involved in such things as war, like it's already kind of involved in the war in Ukraine. I would not want, of course, to this war to escalate into Europe scale.
Pytanie, jaka będzie odpowiedź i czy nasze służby coś robią, czy nie. Myślę, że szansa, że coś robią, jest równie duża jak szansa, że nic nie robią. Bardziej trzeba by się zastanowić, czy my jesteśmy bezpieczni, czy nie. Nie dlatego, że spadł dron, czy nie spadł, bo może właśnie te drony są po to, żebyśmy się czuli niebezpiecznie i czuli się...
On the other hand, Russia has charged the affairs claims the drones shot down over Poland originated from Ukraine. The Kremlin, however, refused to comment directly, saying the issue falls under the Defense Ministry's jurisdiction. Meanwhile, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has condemned Russia's overnight drone incursion into Polish airspace, calling it absolutely reckless and not an isolated incident. Rutte praised NATO's swift response, saying it showed the alliance is fully capable of defending its territory and airspace. He stressed that NATO remains vigilant and will defend every inch of Allied ground. A full assessment of the violations is ongoing. Rutte also said the incident proves the urgent need to invest more in defense and confirmed that allies are determined to step up support for Ukraine amid rising threats to European security. Let's have a look at what the NATO General Secretary Mark Rutte had to say.
Last night, numerous drones from Russia violated Polish airspace. Our air defenses were activated and successfully ensured the defense of NATO territory, as they are designed to do. The North Atlantic Council met this morning and discussed the situation in light of Poland's request for consultations under Article 4 of the Washington Treaty. Allies expressed solidarity with Poland and denounced Russia's reckless behavior. A full assessment of the incident is ongoing. What is clear is that the violation last night is not an isolated incident. The Supreme Allied Commander will continue to actively manage our deterrence and defense posture along the entire eastern flank.
Ms. Alison Butler, former AP Bureau Chief in Romania, joins us live on the broadcast. Ms. Butler, I have to begin by understanding from you, what's your assessment of the situation right now? Poland has requested for Article 4 of NATO to be invoked. However, that does not mean that there'll be anything beyond a discussion at this point in time.
Yes, Article 4 is not as serious as Article 5. Article 5 means if a NATO member is attacked, the other NATO members respond with military action. Article 4, the lesser known Article 4 is it's not as ratcheted up as the Article 5, and it means that the members will all be informed and decide what action to take, but there's no premise of military action. At this point, the general message seems to be that Russia has escalated the war in Ukraine, and the fact that the drones went from Belarus onto Polish territory. I think there were 19 of them so far. No injuries have been reported. A house was damaged. Is seen as a way of testing NATO's resolve. Has a red line been crossed? Will NATO respond? I understand the Kremlin so far has not said anything. It's referred discussion to the Russian Defense Ministry. But what we've seen from past Russian behavior is definitely a testing of NATO's resolve. In the background, we have Donald Trump, the US president, has asked NATO, European members of NATO, to step up their own defense. So there's obviously a sense in Moscow, and not only in Moscow, that the US is not so willing to necessarily be involved in any incursion onto a NATO member's territory. We may be completely wrong. We haven't had any official reaction yet from the White House, but we are expecting it.
But Ms. Matla, I have to understand from you, as far as the current information is concerned, is there somewhere a belief that this could possibly be Russia testing waters? Or what do you make of some of the commentary that's coming from Russia, where they're claiming that the drones were actually coming in from Ukraine?
Well, the Russians say they're coming from Ukraine is because they don't want to address the issue. And it's obviously part of war is also to obfuscate the truth, to not tell the truth, to cover things up. So I wouldn't necessarily believe they were coming in from Ukraine. The assessment that we've seen from Western leaders is they did come from Belarus, which is Russia's ally. And the general sense it is to test NATO's resolve. Is Russia is escalating the war? Will NATO members respond to this, or will there be a ambivalent, ambiguous reaction?
Right. Ms. Matla, stay on with us, because there are some reactions that are now pouring in following last night's violations of Polish airspace by multiple Russian drones. UK Defense Minister John Healey has described the incident as reckless, unprecedented and dangerous. Speaking at a defense meeting in London with counterparts from France, Germany, Italy and Poland, Healey strongly condemned the attacks, emphasizing the urgent need for a united and firm response. This development has further escalated tensions across the region, highlighting the growing security challenges faced by NATO and its allies. Let's have a look at what the United Kingdom's defense minister had to say.
Poland's direct defensive military action last night is the first of its kind since Putin launched his illegal invasion in 2022. Defense Minister Koźmiak-Kamysz has rightly headed home to Poland very early this morning to deal with this attack. Russia's actions are reckless, unprecedented and dangerous. We totally condemn these attacks. And we say to President Putin, your aggression only strengthens the unity between NATO nations. And we will discuss this morning what additional support we can provide to Poland.
Ms. Alison Matla, still with us on the broadcast. Ms. Matla, I have to understand from you now, a lot of support coming in for Ukraine. When the NATO allies say that we will provide all the support that is required at this point in time, what does that truly mean?
Sorry, I didn't get the last part. Where does that...
My question to you is, we've just heard the UK Defence Minister, and he says that we will continue to extend support to Ukraine while also being on high alert as far as our own defences are concerned. I want to understand from you, when we talk about further support to Ukraine, what does that mean in current circumstances where the Polish airspace has been breached?
I would understand that the UK is trying to send a message as a key member of NATO that their support for Ukraine, which is strategic, which is military, which is intelligence, etc., will continue, and they will not be deterred by this incursion onto NATO territory in the form of the drones that violated Polish airspace. So it's a stern message, but Obviously, there's a lot of discussion going on between the NATO allies on the phones, behind closed doors, on WhatsApp messaging, whatever, to decide what response to give. But the UK has been very key in Ukraine, in defending Ukraine. So this is a message that Ukraine, we're standing by you. We will not drop you at this point. But we need to know what the White House says. That's the most important thing politically and militarily, and that's the most important thing, and defense-wise.
Absolutely. Ms. Butler, stay on with us as we shift our focus to more news, this time from France, which was